I want to move on now to the Hunter Biden plea deal. Yesterday, Biden set to plead guilty to two federal tax and a gun charge, a felony gun charge, on July the 26th, ending a 5-year investigation into the president's son. All that after 5 years of investigating. Joining us now for more is former Trump attorney and executive director at the American Center for Law and Justice, Jordan Sekulow, back with us. Jordan, good to see you.
Good to see you, Rob.
Question about Hunter Biden's last name. If his last name's not Biden, do you think he gets this deal?
No, and I mean, I don't think it would have taken 5 years to get to this point, because I don't think the politics at play behind the scenes would have been so difficult for anyone else. And I don't want to disparage anybody, but if your last name started with a T, let's say, and you were and ended with a junior, and you were this kind of similar situated scenario, I think you would be in prison. You would be getting felony charges. You wouldn't be getting deals. And people would take it much more seriously. What's, I think, complicating this situation too, Rob, is that they brought these charges, they come up with the plea deal, but then the U.S. attorney is also saying, we're not done. I mean, so in some hope, they kind of keep people this idea that maybe there will be justice done. But I think we are playing, we've seen this game play out a few times now. We saw it yesterday with Durham to some extent, that people just aren't being held accountable. So we've got to do something else to figure out these problems.
Yeah, people aren't being held accountable if you have a D after your name. And the media, it was so bizarre. Over the past 2 days, the media has been celebrating like this is case closed for Hunter and Joe Biden, when in reality, what happened to Hunter Biden is historic. We've never had the child of a sitting president plead guilty to a felony or a misdemeanor. How embarrassing politically and personally is this for Joe and Jill Biden?
You know, I think for most candidates, this could be ending politically. This could end you politically, especially because he's got such this close relationship with the president. And I mean, not that any son wouldn't, but the idea that they share all these resources. He kind of funnels the business side. We know how close the president has defended him through all these different scandals. But I think because of the scandals, even yesterday with the issue in the child in Arkansas, people get overloaded. So you're just kind of like, okay, this guy, you kind of shrug your shoulders. I think we also give them not enough credit for maybe look at they're bad, but we don't realize that they're pretty cunning people. I mean, he's been able to survive. Look at the amount of incoming they survived throughout their life so far. Just Hunter Biden. Don't even add Joe Biden to that, who's been in Congress since he was 30 years old. It is pretty staggering. So I think we sometimes can underestimate our foes in this scenario and think, oh, he's a guy with a drug problem. He's been at serious levels of negotiation and business deals for most of his career, and he's a survivor. So when they go up against these U.S. attorneys who are also having to play politics with the Department of Justice this entire time, imagine trying to prosecute the president's son, who is in charge of the Department of Justice, especially when you have this kind of DOJ and this kind of attorney general.
Right.
Just trying to get info is not easy. But for most people, yeah, it could be politically career ending. But in the Biden's case, I think this is kind of business as usual.
Great point. Okay, about 20 seconds left. And Jonathan Turley talked about this in the New York Post yesterday, but all the crimes that were left on the table. First, no one can explain why it took 5 years for the investigation of two minor tax counts and a gun allegation. Also, he never faced any charges for videotaping himself engaged in interstate violations involving a host of prostitutes and drugs. There's also the glaring omission of any charge under FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Obviously, he made all that money working for Burisma, never registered as a foreign agent. Does all that just go away now, Jordan? About 10 seconds.
Yeah, the U.S. attorney says the investigation's ongoing. I would hope it's because of these new complicating factors involving Burisma and the CEO, that's something that does take more than a year to investigate, and maybe he's been doing that.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we saw FARA weaponized. We saw people put in solitary confinement under the Trump administration.
Right.
And again, here it is very frustrating, but I think we can't rely on this. We need to start figuring out what's wrong with our actual laws.
And we're talking about felonies here. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not optimistic, but we'll keep an eye on it. Jordan Sekulow, thanks for being with us again. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Rob.